Buenos dias, camaradas. Hope my words find you in good health, that you're finding your purpose in this world and fulfilling your will. We're going to have a lengthy discussion about mental health. More and more my newsfeed, as this lockdown proceeds and carries on, is filling up with people who are expressing, difficulty with their mental health and their mental state in this process. In fact, I've seen videos on the internet of people having complete breakdowns over what's going on. And so I kind of want to talk about, from my own perspective, from my own experiences as someone who has mental health, and then offer some words of encouragement in what might be this trying time, because we don't know how long this is going to go on. So from a place of vulnerability, I'll talk about myself. I have post-traumatic stress disorder associated with my experiences in combat, and I am also bipolar. Now, before I dive into my diagnoses, we kind of got to take a look at mental health. So before mental health was mental health, it was considered mental illness. And the reason it changed is there's a lot of stigma associated with the word illness, right? Like you're sick, there's something wrong with you, you're deficient in some way. And this is a result of, the 100 or so years that psychology has been labeling these behaviors we have, right? So an illness is a deviation from the norm. It's if I go into a doctor and my leg is broken, I get a diagnosis of a broken leg because normally my leg is normal and put together, and now my leg is broken. And so a psychologist makes a judgment call, taking into context, your psychosocial circumstances, your environment, and an ethical judgment as well. Now, there's a lot of issues with making ethical judgments on people because what is the deviation from the norm, right? Is everyone just a flat line their entire life? You see, as bipolar, I have waves, I have ups and I have downs. So is everyone who's normal just a flat line all the time? So in light of this, though, there's been a change within the past few years to change mental health to behavioral health. And this puts the entire thing into context. You see, behavioral health more accurately defines mental health because we can only observe behaviors, and behaviors are changeable. We can change who we are. We can absolutely change our trajectory in life and change our path in life. It takes work, it takes dedication, it takes discipline, but we can actually change. And so these psychosocial, these environmental judgments are made based on your behaviors of causing issues. Well, it's the issues that they're causing within this box. If we take you out of this box over here and we put you in this box over here, all of a sudden we'll find that these behaviors that are causing you issues are unique. They're superpowers. They set you apart from other individuals in really amazing and incredible ways. And in fact, I believe that human history has benefited greatly from people with mental health issues, with behavioral issues. Joan of Arc comes to mind, right? If we saw Joan of Arc today, she would be someone who would immediately be thrown into the psychiatric ward. Yet here she is, this inspirational historical figure. So we kind of got to look, first I'll talk about the symptoms of bipolar, right? And I've written some down here. So as someone who's bipolar, I've been bipolar since the day I was born. For the whole 37 years that I've been on this earth, I've been bipolar. And I'll be bipolar until the day I die. And so I have to accept that about myself. And I do. Because the symptoms of my bipolar have led me to have an amazingly interesting and enriching life and have made me a really well-rounded person. So let's look at the symptoms of bipolar. I'll run through them and then I'll talk about each one individually. So increased risky behavior, increased energy, racing thoughts, happier than usual, increased talkativeness, grandiosity, hallucinations, poor impulse control, and psychotic episodes. So let's take a look at these behaviors. If you take these behaviors, increased talkativeness, increased energy, and you put me inside of a box. You make me a worker drone. I'm going to have conflict. I'm going to have issues, obviously. However, many of these behaviors are what the top firms are looking for in executives and C-suite, leadership. Increased risky behavior. So, without my risky behavior, I would have never in my life ever stepped outside of my comfort zone. I would have never wandered into the dark forest and, challenged myself in new ways. And I would have missed out on so much in life if I hadn't had this, risky behavior. Increased energy. One of the things people look for in life is more energy to do the things that they love. And in my periods of my ups, my increased energy allows me to just produce massive amounts of work. It's been very beneficial for me. Racing thoughts. Racing thoughts are where your mind's just kind of spinning so fast. And one of the drawbacks is that it's spinning so fast you can't seem to catch a gear. However, with a little bit of discipline and understanding of this, my racing thoughts allow me to think quickly, decisively, in many ways, deeply and quickly, faster than other people around me, happier than usual. The most logical pursuit in life is happiness, right? I fail to see a drawback of being happier than usual. In fact, I wouldn't define myself as a happy person. Increased talkativeness. I am admittedly a communicator. I love talking to different people from all over the world because I appreciate humans for who they are uniquely as themselves. I appreciate and recognize that diversity, and I love talking about a wide variety of subjects. I'm kind of a generalist or a polymath. I just enjoy talking about whatever you want to talk about. If you've got information on it, let's talk about it. Grandiosity. Grandiosity is where you're like bulletproof, or have this kind of inflated sense of yourself, high self-esteem, right? So this grandiosity has combined with my risky behavior was incredibly beneficial in my experiences in combat. You see, I've walked through the valley of the shadow of death and not feared evil. Fear can be an inhibitor. It can hold us back. It can make us indecisive or make the wrong decision, make us misstep, right? Hallucinations. I don't know. I don't have hallucinations. And then poor impulse control. So I make, I'm impulsive in my behavior, right? I shoot from the hip. However, because we're talking about behavioral health, right? Knowing is half the battle. If I understand and know that I have impulsive behavior, I'm like, well, I'm kind of being impulsive on this decision. Why don't I make, a cost-benefit analysis? Voila. And then psychotic episodes. Now, my experience with psychotic episodes is very limited. However, it's kind of like a manifestation of all of these things at once, where you go really high. And not applicable to this discussion. I'll talk about that more later on. So, given my psychosocial environment that I find myself in, these symptoms have helped me survive as a human being, have helped me contribute, help my teams survive in really threatening and risky and dangerous situations. And so your mental health is the same way. It's a gift. It's a special thing about you that makes you different and sets you apart. We have this one life. Why do you want to be normal? Why do you want to just fit into the box? I admit, it's much easier to go along with the herd, to just allow others to carry you along with the flow. I mean, it's a very easy life to just, succumb to others' rationality, the rationality and will of others. It's a difficult thing to step apart and be apart. So, my highs and my lows, right? I have depression as well with this, right? So I have my highs where I'm, happy, talkative, and then I have my lows where I think I'm a piece of shit and I won't, how I could be so much further in life than I am now. And so, like, if you look at my life and my, environment, right? If I'd been born into like a middle-class family, these behaviors that I have would have seen me drive to become, successful CEO, a multimillionaire, all of these kinds of things. But I was born into poverty instead. And these behaviors, at least from my perspective, have helped me climb out of poverty in a lot of different, really cool ways. And so then I have my lows, right, where, I think I'm a piece of shit. But depression is a unique thing in of itself, too. When you're depressed, when you're flat on the bottom, and you just, you're crushed by these thoughts, it gives you empathy. It gives you compassion for people who go through similar struggles, who life knocks them down. It gives you that special sense and purpose. And then at the same time, when you're up and you're high and you're down and you're looking down on life, it gives you a unique perspective. Just like when you're down, you're flat, and you're at the bottom, the trough, right? It gives you a unique perspective looking up. You're able to see the world in ways that other people can't see the world. And so, yeah, as you struggle, as you fight through this mental health and these circumstances we find ourselves in, give yourself acceptance for who you are. You're special, you're unique, and your mental health is a superpower. You just have to conquer it. You have to wield it, like any X-Men or, superhero movie you see, Spider-Man. When they first develop these powers, they're awkward. They haven't achieved that hero that they can be yet. Apply it. Don't let society tell you that you're deficient or you have a disorder in some way. Whatever these symptoms are, figure out how they can be beneficial and apply them that way. And that's the answer. You just have to master your superpowers. So I hope you have a wonderful day, and keep soldiering on. Stay strong. Have courage. I love you. Thank you.